Hello everyone and welcome to your year 2024 guidance video. In this one, I'm going to be covering Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So just like I have said for the previous signs, this year, due to the astrology of 2024, I have decided to offer a tarot guidance because the astrology of next year is full of the unexpected and surprises. That's on one hand, it's unpredictable in a classic sense. And on the other hand, it's very, very individualistic. So, because of that reason, I think tarot might offer a much better general resonance. Now, just like I have done for all the other signs, I am going to be choosing an individual tarot deck just for your sign. And for you guys, I have chosen this version of the Golden Dawn Tarot. And the reason why this reminded me of your sign, so Libra, we are beginning already with the sign of Libra, by the way, is because the major arcana don't have a fancy image attached to it. They're just, let me just show you an example. Let me just find, there it is. Like, for example, the Six of Cups. It just displays 6 cups. And this is so specific to the sign of Libra because it is very apersonal. The minor arcana not having a very strong suggestive imagery leaves it very much to the expertise, to the intuition, to the knowledge, of course, of the reader. So that's the possibility to make that choice, the possibility that the image is not strongly suggestive, that is very, very much Libra-like for the freedom, for the consideration, and for the non-personal element. So with this long introduction, let us ask the divine forces what the year 2024 could be about for natives born under the sign of Libra. So let us see. We have the Magician. This is a really good start. We have the World card. In this deck, it is called the Universe. We have the Ace of Cups. Wow. And finally, we have the Chariot. This is all so very positive, and in a way it is surprising because most of the previous signs, especially those which I've done until now, displayed in their reading the chaos factor, the surprise, the unexpected factor. Of course, I'm going to be clarifying these, so it still may pop up in your reading one way or another, but generally speaking, this is really, really harmonious. On one way, the World card makes so much sense because the World card is the ending, it is the completion. It is where one cycle completes, ends, and another one begins, or, death and rebirth theme, especially in nature, because the World card is symbolized by Saturn, and Saturn is exactly that. Even in mythology, he was depicted with the sickles, like 2 crescents, and that represented the harvest, but also agricultural work, so the planting of the new seed, the continuation of the cycles. And you guys host the South Node, so yes, there is going to be, at least from an astrological perspective, a lot of release going on, but at the same time, a lot of new can take the place of what you are going to release. So the magician represents to take a certain kind of control over things in your life that are usually outside of your control, but not in a negative, like control freak way. But this is rather to be understood in a in the big picture, where Libra natives in the year 2024 want to have a much greater saying of what can be in their lives and what ultimately not. And with the magician especially, things have to do with communication, with negotiations, where one will, one thought, one plan intersects another, and there has to be like a certain kind of compromise, or there has to be a certain kind of, confrontation of the two. So this magician, without a shadow of a doubt, means that you are going to be taking a lot of um, inner action, if that makes sense, to responsibilize yourself in order to be much more present in certain areas of life where previously you were kind of missing and it went on autopilot. But on the other hand, to allow much more freedom. So, actually, the opposite, the lack of control in a good sense, in the sense to allow that area of life to have much more flow in it, where exactly where until this moment you really held the control very, very tight because you were insecure, but not in a classing sense. You didn't have all that much power, so that's why you needed to have a control. The world card is in a way self-explanatory. This represents that next year is going to be one with big completions, big terminations, especially things that have to do with the more distant past. And even in that distant past, karmic elements, because this is Saturn ultimately. So that karma which hasn't played out yet, or that karma which for one reason or the other was blocked, was delayed. So there is going to be a lot of karmic activity, a lot of karmic rebalancing. Then we have the Ace of Cups. Something is going to fill your soul. And the Chariot, whatever this trio means, so you taking control, that means endings, completions, and terminations can come that much easier, especially in places where you kind of let loose your existing control a little bit because of the flow. But anyway, this means a serious attitude to truly be present in your life and do the things you have to do. This means not withdrawing, not going after the advice or example of other people, but truly doing things your own, figuring out your own special modus operandi, doing it. So, of course, the emotional element, the Ace of Cups, is going to start filling the inner creativity, the basically, how should I express this? The sense of that life is an adventure and it fills you with joy, with happiness, with excitedness. That is what the Ace of Cups represents, and in a big picture way. And the Chariot, of course, you're gonna feel like you advanced, like you properly advanced. You actually completed a very important finish line, a finish line which maybe a few months ago was impossible. This is where your vision didn't even go to the end of the track, so to speak. You couldn't even comprehend what the finish line was, looked like, could feel like. Now you are actually gonna not just be there, but pass it. So a new cycle is gonna be preparing. So let us clarify now this magician. Because this is, remember, this is just the big picture. Chaos can still be. So the magician is clarified by the justice reversed and by the prince of swords reversed. Now, these two cards, I'm gonna place them here. Let's not cover the magician fully. So these two cards do represent, along with the magician, that very delicate choices and options have to be made next year, and probably ever since January. a series of like, what is your option? What is your preference? What would be better for you? What would work for you better in a certain kind of situation? And this situation is not just emotional and small things, but the justice, especially in reverse position, means legally binding stuff. Getting out of old contracts, getting out of old alliances, let's say, old balances, and terminating that which simply no longer serves you. Perhaps many Libra natives were actually working on terminating certain things way before this 2024, but it just didn't come together. Everything took its own time, and of course, indecisiveness, because these elements, these legally binding or official or very important elements in their lives, this could not go with just the feeling, the gut, what my intuition tells me. These decisions and choices really needed to be thought out carefully and very thoroughly. So this justice reversed with the Prince of Swords especially means that you might go back on a decision that shaped and formed your life maybe 2 years ago or something like that in the more distant past. At that moment, that decision, that choice, which could have also been legally binding, was the best possible idea. But now life changed, the situation changed. Something that you have been working on, but intellectually, mentally planning, trying, is part of your life already. So this is why your situation changes. It is time to go back on an older decision. Even this can even be cyclical. This is where the renewal of your rent. Let's use a very simple example. That's on one hand cyclical. That is a contract, legally binding, and that impacts and influences your life. But this can be anything similar. It can be a relationship, it can be something romantic, it can be your options with a specific lifestyle, career choice. It can be really anything. But this is where you're going back on old decisions. Your situation and your life and everything in it was in a certain way in the past, either, as I said, either the past 2 years or maybe it goes as much as 11 years for some people. Now your life, your situation, and even you are different. So the choices and the options and the overall balance in your life can be different. So the world card is clarified by the King of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, but the Two of Pentacles is reversed. And more court cards popped out, as in more in the sense of the Prince of Wands. But I'm not gonna use the Prince of Wands because the King is very, very relevant. So first of all, this Two of Coins reversed. Again, the balance of your life is probably going to shift because certain things, even certain karmic patterns, are gonna be closed. Some of these karmic patterns have to do with your material situation. So, for example, the way you make money in a certain cycle that closes means that another possibility, another door opens on how you make money in the future, and 2024 is gonna put the basis on this for this. But this is just an example for some people. For other people, this is more like their social position, how they see themselves in society. Maybe there was a moment in the past where you had to distance yourself from certain people, groups, organizations, activities. A certain part of social life was cut out. Now it can return because you're different. And even the social activity is a bit different. For others, still, this is This can be about your physical body, or this can be, better said, your physical lifestyle. But and when I say physical, it's the material, like the health, the routines, the overall feel of your life, materially speaking, physically speaking, is what matters the most. Maybe that will uh, have an important change, because, as I said, the karmic patterns are closing. So means that certain lessons, certain uh, nuances of how life has to feel like generally are closing. So the new is knocking at the door. And this King of Wands represents ambition. It represents that the time is here. You can, there were maybe the past 2 years when you knew you needed to take action, but you simply couldn't. And even when you thought you could, fate or the universe or your own inner forces or life generally stopped you in your tracks. Now, exactly that energy is shifting, where whatever you want initiative with, it will be possible and even encouraged, especially for bigger completions. Now, let us ask about this Ace of Cups. So, we have the Seven of Coins. We have the Eight of Cups reversed. So the Seven of, is that, no, like this, yeah. And we have the King of Pentacles, the Queen, sorry, the Queen of Pentacles reversed. This is also very suggestive to me that this is about life, the nuance of life, but in a very embodied way. Queen of Pentacles and both the Seven of Coins represent embodying. So, how does that go with the Eight of Cups? Well, this just means that you're no longer shy from beings, from fulfilling a certain position, from experiencing certain uh, things in life which before maybe you thought were too big for you, or maybe because of certain karmic forces that played out in your life. Again, the justice reverse. The justice reverse usually means that you had a very, very tough situation where life turned around, but in a rather challenging, in a difficult sense. So this justice reverse means difficult choices and decisions which basically also broke your heart. That is exactly why right now in this new cycle, this has to be a little bit different. Not just that you're going back on those choices and decisions where life is permissive of you to experience things in a totally different way, but also the courage, the desire, the passion that I truly want to embody everything that I had to leave, cut out from my life and leave aside in this new cycle. It is like the green lights that you can do. You can do so very many things that you couldn't before. Maybe many things, as I said, were your choice. You had to cut them out from your life, going into a very minimalistic existence. But it is exactly those things which were sacrificed that you can live once again, you can do once again, you can have once again, you can be part of once again. And you can imagine how that will contribute to your overall happiness, how that will contribute that life is worth living, that you are actually living. And the Eight of Cups reversed. You're no longer fleeing, you're no longer running, you're no longer how should I say, staying in the surrendered position where, well, whatever the divine wants, whatever the partner wants, whatever the job wants, whatever the company wants. This is where exactly the South Node in Libra. This is the moment when you must not be a typical Libra. This is where you must be an atypical Libra. You really, really need to tap into the Aries part of your chart in that sense to have strong initiation energy. Of course, Libra is very powerful at initiation when it comes to peace talks, in any kind of diplomatic situation, to be an advocate, an intermediary. But this time around, as I said, initiation for the self in order to life to be pleasurable once again. So 2024 is going to definitely steer you into that direction from a karmic perspective. And finally, the Chariot. And here we have the Queen of Cups, emotional healing, and finding the strength, the emotional strength to embrace against something that is not present in the moment in your life. For some people, relationship. For other people, work, but in a more passionate, in a more self-fulfilling sense, not just finances and stuff like that. For other people, it is their spirituality and spiritual journeys, and the Hermit reversed. Again, the Hermit reversed, I find this very, very beautiful, because for some people, getting out of solitude, getting out of hermit mode, getting out of strict self-sufficient mode, no longer seeking, because the Hermit upright very many times represents seeking mode, where you seek and seek and seek and seek. And one more, please. Well, actually, we have two more. We have the Emperor reversed and the Prince of Cups reversed. This means maturization, but in a not necessarily in the ways where Libra natives are mature already, not necessarily in the bigger philosophical and, the general truth kind of ways, or life in general, the big lessons of life and everything that we kind of acquired having lived the incarnation, knowledge wise and experience wise, but rather more exactly the inner animal, the instinctual part, that part which is responsible for the survival instinct. So that part finally gets a bit of freedom. That part finally gets to have a word to say, but in the sweetest sense, because the survival mode that life felt like in so very many moments in the past 2 years, that ends. But at the same time, Prince of Cups, also the the inner child, the Prince of Cups ultimately, but the spoiled brat version of the inner child, that which frustrates, that which just doesn't want to understand, doesn't want to accept, no timing is good for them, the moody inner child. So this is where you're actually advancing in a very, very powerful way. But all of these things that I said about will gradually, and you see the chaos, this will be the chaos factor that life will feel due to karmic completion. Life will start feeling and even flowing so very differently than was done until now. So thank you so very much, Libra natives. Thank you for listening. And I'm wishing everyone a very happy and blessed 2024. And until next time, bye for now. Hello, natives born under the sign of Scorpio. As I said for other piles, I am going to be choosing a different tarot deck for each and every sign. And for you guys, I have chosen this very unusual tarot deck, which says magicians, martyrs, and madmen. tarot, of course, because it's a tarot. And the title and the theme, the greatest occultist, the greatest healers, and the greatest con artists of history, well, those are without a doubt in the kingdom, in the sphere, in the realm of Scorpio. So this is why I have chosen this tarot deck for you guys. I really hope that you enjoy it. So now let us ask the divine forces what the year 2024 may prepare for you guys. So let us see. So we have the Seven of Swords. We have the Nine of Cups. We have the Eight of Cups. And we have the Lovers in reverse position. Now, this is quite an interesting energy, especially with the Seven of Swords, because this Seven of Swords represents that you will need to get into certain uncomfortable connections, uncomfortable communications, uncomfortable relationships. And when I say relationship, not really the romantic ones, but more like for business, for to sort out like banking, things that have to do with at your company, work, personal finances. So very, very practical things. But Scorpio natives might have been really, really delaying these because the last couple of years, from so very many perspectives, were not favorable. Were not favorable to initiate a certain kind of project, a certain kind of communication, certain kind of larger activities in life, because without a doubt, their native scorpionic foresight and intelligence combined with the instinct told them that it's really not a good period to do this, that, and that, and that, even if you need it in life right now. Because collectively, things were not permissive. And the COVID and so very many chaos, let's say like that, going on the world stage and around us was like the reason that you were actually wise in this. But 2024 comes with the opening of this door. So this means that you do need to get back on track from as I said, social perspective. But don't really understand this as fun and games and things we share with other people in the most positive sense. This just means that you have to deal with other people in the official and irritating and in a way hypocritic, because that's what bureaucracy and the official way, and you really, really despise it. You maybe not all natives, but Scorpio natives don't really like the show, so to speak. They're very, very stark and they have a very direct approach, let's say it like that. But this year comes, with the discomfort that a lot of approach cannot be like that. This is where compromise. You have to forcefully smile. You have to tolerate certain things. You have to just endure certain things, especially people, in order to get where you need to get, officially speaking. So, like it or not, social connections are gonna be present in your life. But the Nine of Cups, everything is going to be worth it because it gets you to where you need to be. It is not just materially speaking or in a practical way, but the peace of mind, the state of ease, the state that okay, I have done that which needed to be done, and now I can just focus on what's important or enjoy or relax. And with this Eight of Cups also represents that for Scorpio natives, either their own personal psychology, their psychological health, their psychological equilibrium and well being, while for other natives, their spirituality, but not in a religious sense, but simply their spiritual power is going to be very, very important. So this means a lot of, for some, travel to certain places or to be part of certain experiences, meet certain people, but this is a good kind of meeting, not the Seven of Swords kind of, is going to be part of their year, and it's going to be a highlight ultimately. Because the Nine of Cups, they really want to do that. But for others, the healing, the understanding, the release, no longer running from their feelings and from certain hard to look at inner truth, but at the same time, uh, escaping, abandoning anything that is like a distraction, is like futility, is like an illusion, and ultimately the Lovers reversed. Now, this for certain Scorpio natives does represent unconditionality. Now, how should I even go about explaining this? Unconditionality in matters of partnerships, in matters of alliances, associations, because that is the general meaning of the Lovers, where when you do connect with a person, when you do make an alliance, when you do make, let's say, an agreement or a new friendship, or you want that person's worldview, belief system, even their principles to be as unconditional as, I don't want to necessarily say love oriented in that sense, but moral as yours. You don't want to have to do with people less moral than yourself. So this is where you get very, very serious in life. What kind of connections, relationships can be part of your life and what definitely cannot. For other Scorpio natives, this Lover's reverse means, especially those of you who are single, maybe someone from the past returns into your life. While for those who are in an established bond, and the unconditionality does not resonate with you in that sense, this can represent finding even more common ground with your partner. So let us clarify each and every card and see where it leads us. So first, the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is clarified by the Seven of Wands. Exactly, that this is not easy, because these are the social activities or the legal or official activities, or things that you cannot solve alone. You need a representative, like a lawyer, an accountant, your partner, your child, things like that. So the Seven of Wands represents that you do muster the strength and the willpower to go and solve all those things. We have the Page of Cups, which I don't want to accept just alone, because I need another clarifier here. But the Page of Cups, to back up these cards, simply represents your emotional strength, and you see the utility, and you see the wisdom, and you see the need. the Sun, and the Chariot reversed. Exactly what I said. Certain connections, certain businesses even from the past which aren't closed yet. Maybe you are owed something by someone, uh, with firms and business and personal finances at work, legal stuff with pension, anything like that. This is where you're finally the Sun. You're standing up for yourself, demanding your rights, or simply going and resolving this. Your Sun is shining, you're visible. The Chariot reversed represents exactly that. All those things which could not be completed until now, but now they become more and more important. And external reality is permissive. We must not forget that. So the Nine of Cups clarified by the Two of Cups, Five of Pentacles, and the World reversed. Now, for some Scorpio natives, this does represent that you are going to receive, but understand this in a vice versa situation, a lot of help from your partner. Now, some Scorpio natives may have, I'm not gonna lie, some medical problems, and specifically maybe with dual organs like kidneys, like lungs, like eyes, like anything that is double, the Two of Cups. And the cups usually represent something which has to do with water. So again, this uh, highlights maybe kidneys, genitalia, the double parts. And their health is going to be greatly impacted by the help of their partner. You know what I mean? But this can be very well vice versa. But this is just one of the potential meanings. The other meaning is that they complete something important along with their partner. The Five of Pentacles can mean exactly this: certain kind of hardships or certain kind of lacks, needs, or being abandoned. By you fill out the details by who or what, and that ends world reversed. It comes to completion with the help of partners. And for those of you who are not partnered, this can represent a very, very good friend, family member. So it doesn't really matter if you're partnered or not, a close soul to you is going to help you get you out from this Five of Pentacles energy. So the Nine of Cups, ultimately satisfaction, happiness. Let's see the Eight of Cups. Wheel of Fortune reversed. And one more, the Strength. Well, the Strength, exactly. To abandon, leave behind, walk away from certain blockages, from certain reminiscence of the past which always hindered you, not necessarily in a very concrete and material way, but rather in a psychological way. Whatever diminished your self-confidence, for example, whatever went against courage, whatever went against your very, very best scorpionic self. So you're gonna abandoning those inner blockages, but at the same time with the Strength, visiting, the Eight of Cups, the journey, the spiritual or the healing journey that you will partake, especially with the Five of Cups. This healing journey might not just be psychological. It might be like a proper in every way, shape, and form, both the physical problems and also the emotional. and usually they go hand in hand. So this is going to be fated, Wheel of Fortune. The time has come for all of these. So maybe some of these healing moments, or some of, like, let me give you an example. Some Scorpio natives are going to go to chiropractors, osteopaths, I don't know, any kind of alternative healing, or to the doctor with back, with something that bothers them, and that begins their healing journey. And it's this Wheel of Fortune reversed, so it means not doing this is already due its time, so it has to be done. And the Lovers reversed finally. So we have the Two of Swords. We have the Five of Cups reversed. We have the Four of Wands reversed. This is so beautiful, because the Lovers ultimately, for every Scorpio native, does mean that you're not alone in something. Now, commonly it means, as I said, life partner, as for those of you who are partners. But even those who are not, you must identify who this other soul is. A family member, a good friend, a colleague, put it into context. Together you make a really good decision to either make an investment, make a very bold and brave move, or do something again that in the past you tried and it disappointed you. Five of Cups. So something that was a major disappointment in the past, maybe not so major, but it was. And you said, oh, this, you and this other person, let's just say life partner, or for other natives, put it into context. You and this other person was kind of disappointed. No, we are not going to be doing this again. But surprise, surprise, you are. Because the Four of Wands means that the opportunity arises for you to do that choice, that project, that whatever investment, whatever it is that you wanted again. But this time around, it won't disappoint you. It will, Four of Wands reversed, move you forward. The Four of Wands reversed doesn't mean completion, like if it would be upright, but it does signal a very important step towards something greater than completion, as in completion, but in a much better form than originally. For some natives, this means relocation. The Lovers of the Four of Wands, you and your partner move houses. It's simple as that. But you must put it into context for yourself. And now, just one final card. Four of Cups. Exactly. Stabilization. For you to feel the Nine of Cups energy. Peace of mind, or peace in any way, shape, and form, where finally it's completed, or finally I'm getting the treatment I need, finally the lack or the struggle or whatever is over. That doesn't necessarily mean that your life is a wonderful, miraculous dream. It just means the peace that you can feel, that even if your life is still not complete, but at least you can relax in the now and you can move forward at your own pace for the future. So this is quite positive. Thank you so very much, Scorpio natives, for listening, and wishing you a really blessed and magical 2024. And until next time, bye for now. So hello everyone who is born under the sign of Sagittarius. As I said for previous signs, I'm going to be choosing an individual tarot deck just for you and your sign. And for you guys, I have chosen this Tarot of Dreams. Now, the reason this reminds me of the sign of Sagittarius is because this tarot deck keeps the symbolism of the original Rider-Waite tarot deck and the astrological correlations and correspondence that goes with it, but it gives it, that, especially visually, such a modern, such an elevated imagery, which is, of course, Sagittarius. And dreaming big, that's very, very Sagittarius. So with this being said, let us ask the divine what the year 2024 has planned for you guys. We have the Knight of Wands reversed. Well, I'm gonna clarify it anyway, but I don't usually like the court cards to be major. Anyway, we have the Four of Swords. We have the Death in reverse position. And we have the Ten of Swords. Now I know that at first glance, this isn't something all that pretty, but it actually is. I know what I know. And the reason for that is because in something where you had a very, very long-term stagnation in your life, a specific area of life or a specific something where the stagnation was either 4 years, but for other natives, a number much larger than four. So a very insistent, a very rigid and tough and almost impossible to overcome stagnation. That is gonna finally, we don't really know how yet, but it's gonna, Ten of Wands, be done with. And even though the Ten of Wands is a heavy card, but we do need to focus on the background, because the Ten of Wands is where something is cast into the void of forgetfulness, if that is even a proper term. Let's just use it, forgetfulness, but something else arises new, fresh hope, a fresh new energy, idea, thought arises on the horizon. So it is usually the good kind of termination, where good riddance, finally it's done with. So that's why, even if it looks so and so, the Death reversed guarantees the rebirth, the transformation, because the Death is the symbol of Scorpio, and the Scorpio's highest octave is, of course, the Phoenix, where something totally new and sacred at the same time arises from the ashes of something which was old and consumed. So, and the Knight of Wands reversed, yes, this may represent that you might need to hold your horses, because the timing is not going to be the way you expect or linear. But as I said in at the beginning of this recording, the year 2024 astrologically is one of chaos and unpredictable. So let us clarify first the Knight of Wands. The Six of Wands reversed. The Page of Wands, but the Page of Wands is not really good solo, because courtship card can't really clarify another, the Devil. Okay, this is kind of making sense now, because the Six of Wands and the Devil does represent that you simply did not have control over this stagnation or whichever area of life was stagnating. Now, the devil can represent either that what or whoever had control was simply external reality, simply the way things were externally in a larger sense. For example, the community where you live, and relocation or changing or moving was not an option for your own personal reasons. Or it can mean the state, the times that we live in, a company, or anything which had like an external authority over you, and that prevented the Six of Wands, the triumph of your will, the triumph of your desire, the triumph of your initiation. Knight of Wands, the journey, the forward journey. But with this Page of Wands, not fully. It could not prevent you totally. You fought very, very strongly against whatever the blockade, whatever the stagnation was about. So you did the Six of Wands. You also had your moments of victory and triumph, but in a larger sense, you just couldn't win. You couldn't be totally victorious. And because of that Six of Wands, whatever this is very important for you also on a heart level. It's not just something materialistic. Now, this Four of Swords is clarified by the Four of Wands. And also another another card which is only specific to this deck, and it's called the Palace of Earth. I'm not going to be using it because it is only specific to this tarot deck. It's an addition. And to be fair, for other signs who didn't have extra cards, I'm not gonna use that for you guys. Knight of Coins and Two of Wands reversed. So this exactly means that the stagnation is over. Something, the Four of Wands, sorry. Something can finally complete. Something can finally even end. Something can finally move forward. The Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight. It means we're going forward, we're advancing, growing, all of that. Yes, absolutely. But slowly, not in a satisfactory way for a Sagittarius native. And the Two of Wands represents that this time it comes to you. You don't go to it, it comes to you. And the Four of Coins reversed. So again, something that was stale, rigid, unmovable, something that just didn't shake, no matter what you did, finally gets uprooted, you know? This is a big, big quantum leap for you guys, but it is in a weird way specific to something, specific to one single thing that is very necessary for you, your heart especially, and could not complete no matter how much you tried. As I said, either this is one area of life, like let me give you an example, love life, or a specific something. Let's clarify the death. Oh, another palace card. So I cannot use that. Before I don't forget, for some natives, this can also mean relocation. Four of Wands and Four of Coins, but the coins reversed, uprooting, letting go, relocation, making the choice, the decision. I had enough trying here where I am. I'm going to move on. So this Ten of Swords can also mean finally surrendering. The stagnation can end that way. that you surrender. But as soon as you do, a door opens immediately. Because this would be like a moment when the universe says, finally, she surrendered. Finally, let's quickly push them to where they should have been all along. You know what I mean? But not for everyone. It will depend on your own specifics. But for some, it's surrendering that, oh, I had it with this house, this city, this neighborhood, this whatever, I'm going. So for some people, it's actually relocating. So this death card is clarified by the Eight of Wands. Again, the Eight of Wands might be suggestive to moving, traveling, long distance travel, or a spur of the moment, something that was not possible suddenly for a short period becomes possible. And the strength in reverse position. The strength reversed is important because courage, leap of faith, the risk that you're willing to take. And the death reversed, regeneration, renewal, a new beginning, but transforming something from the past, like the blockage, for example. The Ten of Swords, let's see. Well, it was quickly clarified. Queen of Coins and the Page of Coins, but reversed. The beginning and actually the Queen is not the end. The beginning, but the present, in that sense. And another clarifier, the Four of Coins. Sorry, Seven of Coins. Now, this means that the Page of Coins reversed, that like surrendering that which doesn't work, or the stagnation ending by something finding a completion, finding an ending, something being terminated in your life. But the Queen of Coins comes after this, and it means growth. You know what I mean? It means growth. It means stability, but a very, very slow one. The Seven of Coins upright. Because the if you look at the image, she is waiting patiently to harvest the fruits, but when it's harvest time. So this means being able to grow again due to this termination, or in another way to interpret it, closing, terminating, surrendering, accepting the symbolically, death of something that simply doesn't grow anymore. No matter what you invest in it, it does not grow, nothing happens. The Four of Swords, the stagnation. So closing that, no longer feeding that which just doesn't want to grow, if you know what I mean. But you must really, really put it into your context. Because for others, it's more important the rebirth. Sudden growth after this termination of that which prevents it. And we have justice reversed and Five of Wands, fighting for your justice, fighting for your sovereignty, and making choices in a totally different way based on a different understanding of the world than you have done previously. So this is a radical change of attitude. You fight your battles, your struggles, competition way differently, almost like a new you in 2024 that you have done ever before. So this means a big life change due to something that was not moving, not going, not evolving, not growing, the end of that stagnation. Either an area of life, because if it's an area of life, you just give up. I don't really need anything to happen here anymore. I'm just gonna move forward and then something comes as a catapult into the future, a rebirth, something wonderful happens after. So you must really adapt this to your individual situation. So thank you so very much, Sagittarius natives, and of course, everyone for listening. Wishing you a very happy and blessed 2024. With this being said, thank you so much. Until next time, bye for now.